Hi, I'm Mel Majoros. I am a 4-year cancer survivor. My blog, The Cancer Warrior, is one of the top 10 breast cancer blogs according to blogs.com. I'm here to bring a fresh, upbeat perspective to a topic that to some may seem scary. A positive mental attitude got me through my cancer, and I hope to share that with you. Today we are talking pediatric cancer with Nancy Crane, the Executive Director of the Pediatric Cancer Foundation in Tampa. How are you today, Nancy?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So you were kind of busy last week. We were trying to get a hold of you, going back and forth playing phone tag. But before we get to that, tell me a little bit about how you got into the Pediatric Cancer Foundation.
Well, I was lucky enough to be the foundation director for the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team for 6 years. And during that time, one of our players, actually two of our players, had suites reserved just for kids with cancer and their families.
Nice.
And so when I first really started working at the Lightning, I wasn't sure exactly what I was supposed to be doing during the games. So I would go to the suite. I would go with kids and their families. So I got to know a lot of them. And over the years, then I got busier, during game day and game nights, and wasn't in the suite quite as much, but was offered the opportunity to come here almost 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. So it must have been pretty amazing to see the kids' faces light up when they got to be in a suite for the first time.
Oh, it's fantastic. It was really, really fun. And it really took them away from their daily routines of, getting treatment. And so many of our families are affected, not just the kids who are battling, but the siblings. And what a good night out for them. And they would repeat coming over and over and over again. So it wasn't that they just got this opportunity one time. It was a wonderful thing. And then the players would meet them after the game and sign their pucks. They became great Lightning fans, and I'm sure eventually when they grow up, they will be season ticket holders.
Well, that would be awesome. I know as you know, Nancy, or maybe you don't, I'm a huge hockey fan and a player. So
wonderful.
Yeah, the chance to talk to you and this organization that works with hockey teams, especially the Lightning and the Tampa Bay Rays, the baseball team. Actually, let's talk about that. We were just talking before the show about, what you were doing this past week. You were shaving the heads of the Devil Rays.
We were. We had a great head shaving. We have an event called Tampa Bay's Cut for a Cure, presented by Carrabba's Italian Grill and Bright House Networks. And this is our third year. And we had reached out, actually Vinny LeCavier reached out to Coach Madden, the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and asked him if he would shave his head. And we heard from him, and he said, absolutely, I'll shave my head. I need a new do. And every year he gets one, so this was a perfect opportunity. And so he signed up, and then he put a little sign up in the clubhouse, and it said, please join me if you'd like. And when we went last Thursday to Port Charlotte, we had 35 Rays. We had some front office, some staff, we had some players, and we had Coach Madden. And before we left, we had shaved over 60 heads.
So how do you raise money?
Everybody got into it. Well, we have a website.
Yes.
And the website is pcfcutforacure.org. You can also go to fastercure.org, and you'll see a website. And there are many individual business leaders, and the Lightning players have a team, and now Team Rays are there with all their 60 men listed. So they're raising money online.
That's awesome. So now are they having competitions in between each other?
Well, they're definitely in competition, for sure. And this campaign will continue until May 4th.
Oh, awesome.
So there's plenty of time for people to donate. If they don't want to put a credit card online, they can download a form and they can write us a check. And you can also do a text donation.
Oh, sweet.
And you can text $10 to CUT at 50555.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, since I'm kind of a Red Sox fan, and I see Don Zimmer as part of the Rays. Did he get his head shaved?
Oh, he totally got his head shaved.
Awesome,
he was so excited. What a good sport. Yes, he's a legend.
He is a legend.
We're very happy to see him.
I know. You said, I heard you go gulp when I said Red Sox fan, so.
No. Well, we have a long-standing family relationship with the Red Sox as well. So
awesome. That's awesome.
We like Red Sox too.
Oh, of
and we
course.
also have on March 30th, we'll have a lot of business leaders and the Lightning shaving, but we have a Pittsburgh Pirate player. His name is Chris Resop, and he'll be down with the Pirates playing the Rays that day, and he's going to come up for the head shaving. He's been raising money with us, so go Pirates.
That's awesome.
And you can look him up online. He's doing great. He's over $5,000 raised already.
Now, will we be able to see any of this head shaving online?
We will have a YouTube video
Excellent.
up the next couple of days after the shave, so it should be up the first week in April.
So who gets to shave their heads? Like, is that something that you get to do, or?
Oh, no.
The kids get to do it? Like,
no,
oh, no,
the kids get to start the shave.
Excellent.
Kids battling or kids who have battled.
Mm-hmm.
Some men have their own kids start their shave. But we'll have probably 20, 25 kids who have battled, and they'll start the shaves. It's a great night. We have a big party, and every person shaving gets to invite 8 people. So we have about 400 people, and it's a big celebration.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. And we have 2 different shifts. So we'll have a shift of about 15 to 20, 25, and then we'll have another shift. And food and drink, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a private event just for those who are shaving and their friends and family.
Because I think a lot of people, well, as a cancer survivor, don't realize it. For guys, it's a little different, but I think for kids as well as women, when you lose your hair, you just don't feel like yourself, and you don't look like yourself. So I think people who shave their head in solidarity, like your organization, is just awesome.
Right. It's the least they can do. Many of them say, gosh, the least I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small token. We even have a team, it's called Team Cusmano, and these 8 men got together and are raising money in honor of a friend of theirs who's battling cancer.
Oh, nice.
And they'll be shaving that night just for him.
Oh.
And so it's very special.
It is special. And will that child be there? Or is he battling right now?
It's a young adult.
Oh, young
yes.
adult. My mistake.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
pediatric cancer also surprisingly affects adults, not just children. Because some adults can get pediatric cancer, which is very
and more
confusing.
Adolescents are getting it.
Yes.
We're finding that's, you probably know all the statistics, but we are finding that there is an increase in adolescents.
Which is, being older, it's easier to understand, but when you're in the prime of your life, getting ready for high school, getting ready for college, it's just devastating when you can't be with your friends, you can't play outside, you have to take all these medications. I mean, I couldn't even imagine going through that as a child.
It's very tough. Yeah. One of our doctors, Dr. Damon Reed, he's at Moffitt and All Children's here in Tampa and St. Pete, is working with a lot of young adolescents and 18, 19-year-olds, and he just said it's devastating. And they're trying to figure out why all of a sudden we're having this increase. But we do need more funding, and funding for pediatric cancer is underfunded.
It is.
So we are doing our best. We have a unique way that we spend the money that people donate here.
Oh, okay.
A little different than most. We're very proud of it. For 15 years, this foundation gave money like many foundations do. They would fund a research project at a hospital. Mm-hmm. People would write grants to us. And then almost 6 years ago now, the founder, Melissa Helms, of the Pediatric Cancer Foundation said, you know what? I just don't think this is going fast enough. We need to make a change. So they met with Dr. Doug Letson at Moffitt Cancer Center and said, what do you think? And he said, well, we're collaborating a lot here. Why don't you pull together some of the nation's brightest physicians and institutions who are willing to collaborate, and instead of just funding research, why don't you fund clinical trials?
Right.
Make them your own. And with the help of these doctors who want to collaborate, you can do it much faster. So we started, and we have funded one trial. We have another trial open now. We just heard today that we have a trial that's just been approved by the FDA that will start probably in June.
Excellent.
And then we have one more after that, ready to go. So we are on our way to having 3 open by June.
So you're kind of
very excited about that.
Trying to set the standard for what other cancer organizations are doing, because like yourself and I believe Stand Up to Cancer, as well as possibly Gateway for Cancer Research, it's not about just one cancer. It's about treating the entire body. You can't just say,
Correct.
oh, well, pediatric cancer, brain cancer, pediatric lymphoma. You have to figure out, hey, well, this drug could work, although it doesn't work for, say, non-Hodgkin's. It could work for liver cancer.
Exactly.
And
a combination of drugs as well. And that's what we're looking at. Our trials right now are combinations.
Right.
And that's, they think is going to be successful. So we'll see.
Well, I hope so. And how do kids get into these clinical trials? Like, they have to be recommended by their doctor?
They do. Mm-hmm. And we have calls. We have people asking us every day, do you think this child would qualify? We just send them to our doctors, and they take a look at the paperwork, and if they're eligible, they're on. There's no charge. We pay for everything.
That's awesome.
This is always good news to the parents. They'll just start in about insurance. You're like, forget it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's all paid for.
Because
we're looking for those less toxic, more targeted therapies.
Mm-hmm.
And
like maybe more gene therapies and less chemotherapies?
Correct. Totally. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, yeah, because, I had Herceptin, which is a targeted gene therapy, as well as chemo, and the Herceptin really didn't bother me, and, chemo, as you know, that's always a good time.
Yeah.
I say sarcastically.
Definitely. Exactly.
But, I think the problem also with chemo is that a lot of doctors don't know how to treat children or children's cancer, and this is why we're raising money for Moffitt and say things like that, because giving a child the same dose that you give an adult is just, that's harsh.
Exactly.
It's harsh on them. It's harsh on their bodies.
Yes.
Because chemo kills everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we are looking for those less toxic therapies, and that's a goal of ours. And with all of our hospitals, we have 7 working together.
Oh, wow.
And the trial will open at 7 hospitals at the same time, every time it opens. And so children in the state of Florida should not have to travel very far at all to go on a treatment or go on our trials. And we do, as I said, have Montefiore in New York, in the Bronx. And then we have all the major children's hospitals in Florida working with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So you have a lot of other events that go on during the year that raise money that we were talking about, like the fishing thing, because I love fishing. I have to say, I caught an 8.5-pound largemouth bass when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, or 4.5 pounds. I don't know. It was as big as me. I just remember seeing this picture, and it was just huge. But tell me about this fishing tournament that you have going on.
Well, we have the biggest tournament that we do too, but the biggest one is called the Grand Slam Celebrity Fishing Tournament. It takes place at the Vinoy Resort in St. Petersburg. This year it will start on October 19th, which is a Friday, through Sunday, the 21st of October. We'll start with a kids' derby on Friday afternoon. We'll have about 100 kids. So we need a lot of volunteers for that event, as you can imagine.
Oh, yes.
And we have a little parade, and then we fish, and then we have lunch and awards. Everybody gets an award, and everybody comes on stage and talk to each kid. The children who are battling or have battled bring their siblings. So it's a great day. And then we have an adult fishing tournament the next day, Saturday and Sunday, and it is a competitive tournament. But it's a great time, and this event has been going on also for about 14 years.
Oh, wow. And so do you get a lot of celebrities in there, like local celebrities?
We used to get a lot of celebrities, but the problem right now is that if baseball teams are still playing, it's right at that World Series time, we lose our baseball players, football players are playing, and hockey is in season. Right. So it's a little harder to get the celebrities, but we have found that people are very willing to have sponsorships and invite people. It's a beautiful, beautiful historic hotel, and it's right on the water, and it's a wonderful time for people to entertain clients or just come and fish for the weekend, and it's a great fundraiser.
Right, and I didn't mean just celebrities like your sports players, but I mean just like your local restauranteurs and your local celebrities that people would recognize around town but wouldn't necessarily be like your baseball. That's
professional
awesome.
Athletes, right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Non-athletes like
Exactly.
Like myself.
It's a big deal.
That's fun.
And then we also have a fashion show that took place this year, February 29th, at Neiman Marcus. Ooh. And the fashion show has 12 girls who are currently battling, and they are escorted by professional athletes in our area. And this year we had over 700 people, and we netted close to $700,000. That was a huge amount for us. This is our 9th year, so we're going to do the fashion show one more year, close it out at 10, and close on a high note, we hope. And we'll find another event, may not ever replace it, but it's been a wonderful run for us for that fashion show. Well, and then we'll do the cut. We'll do the cut again, of course, in March of next year, and it'll happen this year at March 30th.
So, and it's got to be great for the young ladies who are getting all dressed up and everything, who are battling, who just will look like just fashion models, even though they're, because like, I know you're not a survivor, but just when you're all like feeling all low and chemoed out and everything, just to have somebody be like, wow, you look great. And even, just putting on a great outfit and getting out there, and maybe with somebody like Vinny LeCavalier or somebody from the Tampa Bay. I mean, on your arm, that's just...
it's incredible.
That is incredible.
Wonderful event, and the spirit and the beauty and the strength of those kids is just amazing. And we have a day of pampering 2 weeks prior to the fashion show.
There you go.
And that is for the girls and their moms.
Nice.
They come on a Sunday, and we pamper them at Neiman Marcus. They pick out their outfits, which are all paid for by our chairman of our event. And then they have their nails done and their hair done. We have lunch, and it's just a beautiful day. So we do that in addition to having the fundraiser. We try to involve our kids in all of our events that we do. And throughout the year, they speak for us, and their families speak for us. So we're very involved, even though we don't do quality of life. We fund research. We're still very involved with the kids and their families.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that research, when you research a drug or anything, that it will eventually lead to quality of life. I mean, we have a lot of organizations that deal with survivorship and everything.
Exactly.
But if you don't have the medications and, like you said, the less toxic chemicals or chemo that go in there, that will increase your quality of life. Because let me tell you, there's nothing worse than feeling sick and tired from chemo.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all striving to stop.
Yeah,
I mean, we're essentially, and what I like to tell a lot of my guests, I'm essentially trying to put myself out of a job, and so are you.
You better believe it. That will be a great day.
Won't it?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do, and in the meantime, we're going to try to help kids have quality of life for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we have a drug that we're combining with chemotherapy in one of our trials that's open right now, and it's called metformin. It's a very common diabetes drug, and they are combining it with chemotherapy, and have had great results so far, and side effects have been very little, and so we'll see, at the end of the phase 1 if it can go on to phase 2. But metformin is also being used in a trial that we're opening this spring. Dr. Gill from Montefiore is the lead investigator for this trial. It's using, again, metformin with 3 types of chemo, and it will be used for solid tumors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of outside-the-box thinking that we need, because it seems like everyone's been thinking inside the box for so long, where we just, it's, I don't know about you, but it seems like every other day somebody calls me and says, oh my gosh, my friend just got diagnosed. And it's like, well, what are we doing here? I mean, how can we stop this? And, you're finding diabetes drugs and combining them is exactly the kind of fresh thinking that we need.
Right. They were finding in research that kids that were diabetic, who also got cancer, did better. So they were already on the metformin, and some adults as well, so they did more and more research. And, of course, in order to open a trial, there's extensive research that goes on before that happens. And, of course, it's FDA approved for you to do the trial to begin with. But it usually takes our doctors will meet here in Tampa April 27th. All of them from all the hospitals will meet, and they'll talk about ideas they have for future trials. And then from there, actually the opening of the trial could be a year and a half.
Oh, well, that's still not too bad.
It's not as bad as sometimes. With trials can be much longer than that because we have a pretty fast system, right. And they know that we have a budget every year. We work with the different hospitals and with Moffitt, but they know the money is there, so that's not a stumbling block at all. And they just have to get through different channels of approvals, and then once that happens, we're ready to go.
That's awesome. I know, because you see all these stories about, like, for example, Herceptin. I'm only using that because I watched the movie with Harry Connick Jr. where they felt that it wasn't a good enough drug because, only X amount, it would only help X amount of people. And then Avon came in basically, or Revlon, or I apologize if I'm not using the correct cosmetic company, came in and helped fund their research.
Right.
And personally, I think if it saves one life, then it's worth, $1 million or however much you want to fund it, because that who knows what that one person's life you save, what else they're going to do. I mean, it's basically, I guess, the ripple effect or a butterfly effect or whatever.
Right. Well, we're just, every day my job here is to help the Pediatric Cancer Foundation fund as much research as possible and to raise as much money. In our organization, we're very proud that 85% of what we raise goes to program services.
Oh, that's awesome.
A high number.
That is a high number.
We run it very mean and lean. And anybody interested can go look at our 990.
Awesome.
And I think when people look at a charity to support, that's really important to them, and it should be.
Oh, absolutely.
How is that charity using my money? Is it well spent? And our research is, people meet our doctors at our events. They're there. They can shake their hands. It's not like research that you can't see and feel. And so we think that's a real positive for us. Our doctors are very involved and try to come to our events. They fly here and meet everybody, meet our donors, and talk to them about the trials. And I think that for us, this collaborative effort is very important.
I think it's important, too, because you never see the faces behind the people who actually, do all the jobs and save your life. I mean, yes, you do see your oncologist, but they're like, I don't know. I mean, I've met a lot of people when I lived in L.A., and I just feel that a lot of doctors, to me, are rock stars.
Absolutely.
And not, I'm sure I'm in the minority as far as the average person goes out there, but when you think about everything that like a researcher or a doctor can do for you, it's like, okay, so I'll use my favorite band, Aerosmith, as an example. Yes, Steve Perry sings great, but he's not going to save my life. Let's be honest. I'd love to meet him, but if you tell me, hey, this is the person who developed, drug XYZ, who helped save your life, or helped you not to be as fatigued or whatever.
Exactly.
I would be like, wow, really? Other people may not be as nerdy as I am, but yeah, I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I think our donors and people who come to our events love to meet the doctors because they really do feel like they're meeting someone that's doing the work. And it's true. These are oncologists who are treating our children, who are organizing the trials, and they are our researchers. So we have some translational research being done at Moffitt Cancer Center. Even though they treat adults, they are also doing some of our research, and they also organize all of the contracts and do a lot of the legwork for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. So we're very lucky to have them locally. And then we go down to University of Miami. They have a trial that's open right now for us, and the lead investigator is there, Dr. John Goldberg. It's for ALL, for relapsed leukemia. And then we come up to our area, and we have All Children's Hospital, very well known here, and then up to Orlando, Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital. Go to Jacksonville, to Nemours, and we go up to Montefiore in New York. So those are the hospitals in the state of Florida that are working with us.
That's a lot of hospitals.
Yeah.
You usually don't see that many hospitals that are working together, that aren't part of the same group, which is amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was started, as I said, 5 years ago. The foundation now is 21 years old.
Oh.
And 5 years ago, they started our new research project. We call it the Sunshine Project, but it is our research, and it is a new way that we hope other foundations will follow.
Well, I think every foundation should follow what you're doing, because I think it's very similar or close to what Stand Up to Cancer is doing. It's like, okay, well, let's try to treat the body as a whole and not say, oh, I'm only going to keep this drug for breast cancer, because that's all I'm looking at. It's like, well, what if it cures something else? Or I don't want to say the word cure, because there is, I don't know, that's a whole other topic. But what if it helps another patient become cancer-free?
Yes.
You know, I mean, how could you just say, well, no, I don't want to share this? You know, come on, kids, let's put all of our toys in the middle of the sandbox and play, right? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
And I know a lot of survivors with other organizations that I won't mention get upset about seeing how much money is going towards research versus going towards, you know, just basic PR. The great part is 85%. That's a lot.
Yes.
To go towards research. And
exactly. We're very proud of that.
And
we'll continue
trials.
to work to keep that, that going.
Right.
And hopefully we can do more. Hopefully we can have more than 3 trials open. Next year we can open a couple more. It usually takes 2 years for a clinical trial to be completed, with children anywhere from 18 to 25 kids need to go through the phase 1. So with all these hospitals, you can get to 25 much faster. So usually it takes about 2 years.
And think of all the kids you're helping.
Yes.
Which is great.
I hope so.
And their families, and you said you do a lot of support. You said you do support for the families as well.
We do support for families, not on our trials so much as the ones who have battled in our local area,
yes.
All the way down. Well, as far as Sarasota probably, and up to Orlando. And we have so many events, and try to include them in all of those.
Right. Because there's sometimes the families are kind of forgotten, the caregivers, and that's one thing that you're
totally. Yes. But it's wonderful. If we get tickets to a game, or we share those. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Rays have been so helpful. They'll send tickets up to us and say, distribute to your families, and
awesome.
We do. So it's wonderful to have them, and they support us too. They keep us going, and developing relationships with them and seeing how strong the kids are is incredible.
And I'm sure that's an inspiration to the players as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, some of these players have young kids themselves, and as soon as they meet a child that's 2 or 3, same age, similar age, that's something that Chris Resop wrote in his paragraph on our website. If you go to cutforacure.org, you'll see he says a couple of years ago he went to a children's hospital to visit and met a child battling cancer who was about the same age as his child. And he said, I'll never forget that. I got to go home to a healthy child.
Right.
And that child is battling, same age, it could be me. And he said it really affected him, so he decided, I'm going to try to raise some money for him. So
that's awesome.
And I think many of them, if you just reach out to them, they're willing to help.
Oh, yes.
It's just like anybody. You have to ask. And once you educate them and they know that the money they're raising is going to a good cause, then it's pretty easy.
It is. So I know that, speaking of raising money, I know that people will want to help you out. Give me your website and information again.
Sure. www.fastercure.org. You can make it a general donation, or if you want to go to Cut for a Cure, it's PCF, cutforacure.org.
And you're taking money all year round, of course.
Absolutely. Yes. We are.
Because like you said, Nancy, a year from now, I want to be out of a job, and so do you. So,
absolutely. I'll check in with you in about a year, okay?
Or less.
In the meantime, go Rays.
Yeah, exactly, and go Lightning. Although they're not having that great of a year, but I love the Steve Yzerman. So
yeah, it's an amazing organization, and they're very lucky to have Mr. Vinnick and Wiki, and really have made this community a better place.
That's awesome. And helping kids, what's better than that?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Every day.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Nancy, for joining us today. Hang on. I'm going to wrap up like I usually do. This is Mel Majoros. I am the Cancer Warrior. You can always find me on Facebook because I am a Facebook junkie, Mel Majoros. Become a fan of the Cancer Warrior on Facebook. The Cancer Warrior on EmpowerRadio.com. Check out my blog spot, thecancerwarrior.blogspot.com. And as always, life looks pretty good from where I'm sitting. Sending you good vibes. It's The Cancer Warrior on EmpowerRadio.com.